Coming up on Night Vision News, 2 candidates vie for the role of Waverly mayor. Students in Wartburg music ensembles prepare for an annual holiday performance. And members of the Wartburg wrestling family reflect on the loss of a 3-time national champion. This is Night Vision News. Good morning and welcome to Night Vision News. I'm Courtney Moser.
And I'm Alexa Gansfeld. Looking at our first story this morning, Night Vision News' Annika Wall sat down with Waverly's 2 mayoral candidates. Both were given 3 minutes to talk about their week. The order was presented for the unedited interviews was determined by a coin toss.
Joining me now in studio is Adam Hoffman, a mayoral candidate for Waverly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So my first question is, why exactly are you running for mayor?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that we can improve on in our community, making sure that we look at all avenues of listening to people and representing them to the best of our ability.
Okay. What do you want to accomplish over the next 2 years if you were to be elected?
I think the biggest things that we can accomplish is finishing some of the tasks that have been on the back burner for a long time. I think the Green Bridge is one of the big ones. It's a big hit right now, getting the ball fields off to a successful start for the youth. And again, listening to our constituency.
So specifically, what do you think should be done with the Green Bridge?
I think we need to have a replacement there, especially when we have the Bremer Avenue Bridge going to be taken out in a couple of years to be replaced. So we need another avenue for emergency services and just general traffic.
Speaking of everything going on with Bremer Avenue, what do you feel is the best plan of action?
In regards to configuration, or what can I?
More of the configuration, 3-lane versus 2 lanes.
Okay. Back in 2016, we had a resolution that said that we needed to wait until the Cedar River Parkway was open and we had the traffic study from this coming spring. Once we have those things in hand, we can revisit it and see if it warrants a change. If it doesn't warrant a change, then we'll leave it as 3-lane.
Okay. In your opinion, what is the best plan of action now for Champions Ridge, considering everything?
Well, you know, Champions Ridge was declared as dead, and then they've acknowledged that fact. I think we need to move on to the 3 separate entities, just like the youth ball fields has moved on to their own plan. We need to look at what the Fair Board is going to do. They're having a meeting on the 18th of November, see what their plan is, and then also address the adult softball programs as well.
Okay, for you personally, what do you feel as though sets you apart in terms of leadership?
I think a lot of the leadership skills that I've developed in my career history in law enforcement, where you are making very important decisions, oftentimes that people aren't going to like, but you have to make a decision with reason, but also taking the time to listen to them to come up with that decision.
Okay, you've talked a lot about voices. How do you plan on making sure everyone's voices are being heard on certain issues?
Having office hours is a key thing, having your phone number out there for people, making yourself available. You can't just sit at home and expect people to be able to reach out to you. Social media is a big hit this day and age with this next coming generation, such as yourself. You're probably more comfortable messaging someone through social media than picking up the phone, and we have to be receptive to that.
Okay. How has your past influenced your decision to run for mayor?
I've always been involved in some way, shape, or form with politics, either in being a supporter of people running for office. I remember being really young and walking in parades for political candidates and handing out pads of paper and pencils and those types of things. So being involved.
I'm sorry, that's about all the time we have for today.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming in.
No problem. Thank you.
Of course. Here in studio now is current Mayor Dean Soash. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Annika.
So I guess my first question is just, why are you running for mayor again?
Well, the answer I give in jest is I haven't received enough abuse yet. But realistically, I'm running because there's still unfinished business to do for the city. Listen to the people and be a liaison, so to speak, between the city staff and the citizens of Waverly.
Okay. What are some things that you want to accomplish your next 2 years if you were to be reelected?
Continue work with the Youth Ball Diamond project that's currently underway. Begin conversations on the Green Bridge, 3rd Street Bridge. It'll always be green regardless of what color it is. But most importantly, I think I have a connection with the citizens, majority of the citizens anyway. Maintain off that I can continue to grow and develop. I maintain office hours at City Hall, and my phone numbers and email addresses are very public so that they can get a hold of me.
Okay. In your opinion, what should be done with the Green Bridge?
I was on the original task force in 2002 or 3 that recommended a replacement of that bridge. Due to some circumstances that didn't happen, there was an effort at one time to set aside funds for repair of the bridge before it got into the condition it's in. But I've always maintained that was put in as a neighborhood bridge, and it still needs to be a neighborhood bridge, obviously updated, and I think in the budget year of upcoming budget for 2020, 2021, that we'll begin talks on trying to fund engineering so that we can move down the road to get that reconstructed.
Okay, how about Bremer Avenue?
Bremer Avenue is going to remain as it is until the traffic study is done in the spring of 2020. We don't expect to get the results until mid-year, and depending on the results of that study, what happens. But based on what I see now, I'm not sure anything will change.
Okay, what do you feel sets you apart in terms of your leadership?
I've dealt with the public one-on-one for almost 60 years due to my previous, I'm a retired electrician, had a 57-year career as that, where I dealt one-on-one. And I think that's my strength, is that I have...
Okay, I'm sorry, that's all the time we have today.
Okay.
Thank you so much, though, for coming in.
Not a problem. But hit just about right.
Yeah.
So.
The election is Tuesday, November 5th. To vote, students living in the Manors or Knights Village will go to Bartles Retirement Home. Students in all other residence halls will vote at the Waverly Fire Station. All voters are required to bring either a state of Iowa driver's license or their voter registration card. After the break, we'll break down Wartburg enrollment.
Do you know what to do if you're stuck on the railroad crossing? Get out of your vehicle. If a train is not approaching, find the blue and white emergency notification system sign on the traffic signs at the crossing. For help, call the number on the sign and give them the crossing number so they know your location and can alert train traffic. Remember, find the blue and white to save your life.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Welcome back to Night Vision News. Wartburg College recently released its fall enrollment and retention reports. This year, the college set 3 records related to enrollment, including the greatest amount of countries and U.S. states represented on campus. The incoming group of students also holds the record for the highest high school GPA with 3.62. Overall retention rate raised from 85.5% to 87.1%. For more information about Wartburg's enrollment and retention, contact Edith Waldstein at edith.waldstein@wartburg.edu.
A big step forward in the impeachment processes took place recently. A vote to move forward with the impeachment inquiry against President Donald J. Trump took place yesterday and passed in the House with 292 votes for and 196 against. The Iowa vote was split across party lines, with Representatives Dave Loebsack, Abby Finkenauer, and Sidney Axne voting yes and Steve King voting no. The next steps in the process will be public hearings where President Trump's counsel will be allowed to cross-examine the witnesses. And now for a look at your 7-day forecast. Courtney, is winter finally here?
I don't know if winter is finally here yet, Alexa, but there is a chance for rain and snow showers today, and we'll see a high of 42. Moving into the weekend and the rest of the week, it will be mostly partly cloudy skies throughout the week. Beginning on Saturday, a high of 41, a low of 29. Sunday, that high will increase just a bit to 50 degrees, but lower back down on Monday to 44, with mostly cloudy skies on Monday. Those clouds will break up a bit moving into Tuesday with partly cloudy skies and a high of 35. Wednesday will see a high of 36 before those highs drop on Thursday to a 28 with a low of 13. Again, partly cloudy skies, so be prepared for that throughout the week. After the break, we'll see what Wartburg College's Fine Art program is up to.
Some things in your medicine cabinet are more dangerous than others. When it comes to prescription drugs, opioid pain medicines can be addictive and even deadly. Keeping unused opioid medicines in your home is risky. Half the people who misuse prescription pain medicines get them from a friend or family member. Over 100 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose, and millions are addicted to opioids. But you can be part of the solution to the opioid crisis. Go through your medicine cabinets, drawers, anywhere you keep unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups, and find out how to dispose of them safely. Visit fda.gov/drug disposal for details and remove the risk of opioids in your home.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Wartburg's drama troupe, the Wartburg Players, will have their first performance of the semester soon. Night Vision News' Rachel Green had a chance to talk with some of the actors.
The Wartburg Players are ready to take the stage again, this time showcasing the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime. The story follows Christopher Boone, played by second-year Nathan Onsgaard, and his journey towards self-discovery. This isn't the typical coming-of-age story, however. It also provides a perspective of a 15-year-old boy with autism.
A lot of the interactions are different because the main character is on the spectrum, so it's not a straightforward emotional piece.
Not only does the storyline have numerous twists and turns, but the minimalistic set design allows the audience to gain insight into Christopher's mind.
I would describe this play as kind of abstract. The way that we do a lot of the moving around, it's a very visual play, and it has allowed the director to be very creative with it.
The play isn't the only new thing, though. Making her directorial debut is senior Megan Mulaski. She hopes people receive more than a night of entertainment when coming to the show.
I think we tend to live in our own bubbles, and it's nice to see people coming together and working on something much bigger than, their everyday lives.
The players are hoping to provide insight on the experience of living with autism through the relaxation of theater. For Night Vision News, I'm Rachel Green.
The show will be held at 7:30 p.m. on November 8th and 9th in the Lyceum. Admission is $10 or free with a Wartburg ID.
The annual Wartburg Trumpet Festival took place in the Wartburg Chapel last night. The event, featuring trumpet players only, was performed by a high school mass trumpet choir from local areas, as well as the Wartburg Trumpet Choir and Wartburg faculty. This event also featured guest artists such as Dr. Amy Gilreath, Dr. Rolf Olson, and Professor Scott Olson.
I really enjoy having different people come every year. It's really a treat to get to play for all of these incredible artists. And I just really enjoy having the one time a year where all of the trumpet players come together and play a piece together. You don't usually get to play with more than like one or two of your colleagues, usually, that play the same instrument.
Wartburg College has a lot of traditions. A slew of Wartburg students have been preparing for one in particular. I bring you the story. Each year, Wartburg College presents a musical celebration called Christmas with Wartburg. The program features the talents of over 350 students from a number of Wartburg ensembles. This year's theme is Behold the Mystery.
My favorite part is that all of the ensembles, be it the choirs and the instrumental ensembles and even handbells this year, get to come together as one mass ensemble that gets to represent Wartburg.
Christmas with Wartburg has been a treasured holiday tradition since 1947. Once mass rehearsals begin, though, students become busier with schoolwork while preparing for the Christmas program.
I think we have to prepare mentally. There's a lot of talking with both ensembles about what it means to us to share this music to others, and what it means to be able to perform at this level, especially this year being videotaped. We're kind of taking it to another level and really trying to bring everything we do here at Wartburg to all those other people to make their Christmas season better.
Staying organized and managing time outside of rehearsal can prevent students from falling behind in the classroom.
I use a planner all the time, but specifically with Christmas with Wartburg, I have to plan out my entire day, making sure I get food before the rehearsals that are like 2.5 hours, as well as just getting some of my bigger projects started earlier because there's not a lot of time when it comes down to the mass rehearsals.
There are 4 total performances of the show in Waverly and West Des Moines. Reporting for Night Vision News, I'm Alexa Ganzeveld. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit wartburg.edu/Christmas.
In another holiday spirit, Wartburg students got into the Halloween spirit earlier this week. Wartburg Dining Services hosted its annual Monster Bash. Students quickly found the Mensa and its staff dressed up for the Halloween spirit. In addition to the regular dinner items, a special brew was served for students along with a build-your-own cookie bar, leading to several participants making some creative designs. The event also held a costume competition for students, which showcased some haunting and clever costume designs for all to see. Coming up after the break, Ryan Riebenacker will be in to talk about Wartburg sports. Keep it here.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be tornado next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
And I can't change, even if I try, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Welcome back to Night Vision News. I'm Ryan Riebenacker, and this week's sports segment is Wartburg's conference success and the loss of a Wartburg wrestling legend. Earlier this week, the Wartburg volleyball team had the opportunity to clinch the American Rivers regular season conference title. They accomplished that feat with a 3-set sweep over the University of Buena Vista. The victory marks the 5th straight conference title for Wartburg and the 7th of the last 8 years. The win was highlighted by the first 2 sets, which ended with scores of 25-15 and 25-12. As a team, the Knights hit just over 27% and served up 10 aces. And individually, Kylie Bildstein hit at nearly a 54% clip and notched 3 blocks as well. Wartburg has received a bye in the first round of the volleyball conference tournament, and they will face the winner of Nebraska Wesleyan and Co. next Thursday in Levick Arena. This weekend, the Wartburg football and volleyball teams look to defend their home territory on Saturday. Starting off the weekend, the volleyball team will open up the Knights Invitational at 10 a.m. against the University of Northwestern, located in Minnesota. The team will also look to avenge a previous loss to Cornell College at 2 p.m. In between those 2 games, the football team will take on the Co-College Cohawks. The Knights are currently ranked first in the American Rivers Conference preseason poll, while the Cohawks stand second. Kickoff will be at 1 p.m. for that matchup. Looking to sports to come here in this semester, the Women's Basketball Coaches Association released its 2019-20 opening NCAA Division III Top 25 Coaches poll yesterday. The Knights are ranked 3rd overall and received 1 first-place vote as well. This is the highest preseason ranking in program history. Wartburg is currently coming off of a 27-4 record last season, where they reached the Elite 8. Wartburg was also ranked 1st in the American Rivers Conference preseason poll. The women's basketball team will open the season on the road November 15th at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. There they will face UW La Crosse and the host team, UW-Eau Claire. For our final story in sports this week, the national wrestling community has been in mourning following the passing of the legendary Wartburg Wrestling 3-time national champion, Kenny Anderson. I had the opportunity to speak with those in the Wartburg community who knew him best.
When I was extremely young, when I was 7, everybody would pretend to be in the NHL Finals, NBA Finals. Me and my brother would throw down blankets on the wooden floor and pretend we're in NCAA Finals. So it's for just any kid to accomplish his dream. It's amazing. I don't know.
But for Kenny Anderson, it became more than just a dream. 3 NCAA Division III national titles, 3 Massachusetts state titles, countless lives touched, and 1 staggering legacy. This is just a small part of what Anderson leaves behind following the announcement of his death on Sunday, October 20th. Anderson was 29 years old. Jim Miller, the former head coach of the Knights during Anderson's tenure at Wartburg, talks about his reaction to hearing of the former athlete's passing.
Felt like I got hit up the head by a sledgehammer when I heard that news, you know. And Stephen Klemenakis was the one that called me. Stephen was the first one of a number of Louisiana kids that came to Wartburg, and Kenny was living with Stephen's brother. And so he called, and yeah, man, it's still hard to grasp. It's still hard to put your head around it, you know.
Anderson's legacy was matched only by his story. He grew up in the community of Billerica, Massachusetts. Before coming to Wartburg, he hit his self-described rock bottom washing buses in his hometown. Looking back, Wartburg head wrestling coach Eric Keller believes those were the moments that shaped him.
He lived for moments like that, you know, and I think a lot of that was those are the moments that he'd always dreamed of, you know. I mean, I think for him, as a kid growing up, probably those days washing buses, those are the moments that got him through, you know. Those are the moments that he was envisioning. Those are the times that he visioned being on that stage, wrestling for a championship, that moment, you know. And so when it happened, when it was there, he embraced it.
Jim Miller and Eric Keller's final time coaching together happened to coincide with Anderson's 2nd national championship match. After coming out on top, Miller recalled an encounter he had with his final national champion.
Kenny Anderson said, Coach, I know you remember your first national champion. I hope you won't forget your last, and I most definitely will not forget Kenny Anderson, and neither will so many others. We love Kenny Anderson.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day. He's an incredible companion and my best friend.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, it's gonna be cool.
When I retired from the Navy, I found myself on a void in my life that had been filled by the people that I served with. Tommy really brought an important factor to my life. I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Earlier this week, Wartburg hosted two notable musical ensembles from Germany. On Monday, Winsbacher Knabenchor performed in the Wartburg Chapel to a full audience. The German boys choir sang many classical pieces, both in English and German, and sang with the Wartburg choir in mass ensemble at the end of the performance. Later on Tuesday, the cello-piano Karlsruhe concert duo performed an extensive set of classical romantic music for an audience in Orchestra Hall. Both groups will be continuing their respective tours throughout the United States.
Looking back on today's top stories, two candidates vie for the role of Waverly Mayor. Students in Wartburg music ensembles prepare for an annual holiday performance, and members of the Wartburg wrestling family reflect on the loss of a three-time national champion. Thanks for tuning in to Night Vision.
To stay up to date with all of our Night Vision News content, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for joining us today. For Alexa Gansveld, Ryan Riebenacker, I am Courtney Moser. Have a great week.